Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the homestead. It is a beautiful day. We're supposed to reach 60 today, and we are excited about that. As promised in last video, we are going to talk to you guys today about the top 4 reasons why you shouldn't start a homestead in 2024. All right, guys, we got our young piglets moved over. If you guys remember, they were down in that last stall, and that brings us to the first reason why you should not start a homestead in 2024, and that is the time it takes. So we've been working all weekend. If you guys have been watching the last couple videos, you have seen us moving animals all over the farm. So moving animals takes a lot of time. Now, you don't always have to move your animals, but we like to keep them off of their manure. So that is one reason that we are moving our animals all the time. Another thing that takes up a lot of time is just feeding the animals. We feed them twice a day. The amount of animals that we have, it takes us about an hour each feeding. So there is 2 hours out of our day feeding the animals. And so that is definitely something you need to think about when you are thinking about starting a homestead. You've got a lot of time in just moving your animals and feeding your animals. Along with just moving animals, another thing that takes up a lot of time is setting up breeding pens. Jamie and I spent a lot of time thinking about which pigs to put with which pigs for breeding, and then we're moving pigs to breeding pens. We showed a lot of those videos. Once you get them moved, then you've got extra stops during your feeding times, and that's adding extra stops, adding extra time, and just sitting there thinking who should be with who takes up a lot of time that you don't really think about. And it's an important step in having a homestead, figuring out who to breed with who. And like I just said, once you get all those pens, we had 6 breeding pens this winter. That's 6 extra stops that we need to feed. So that adds a lot of time to our chores. This one may not be so bad, but another thing that takes up a lot of time that you might not account for is actually spending time out with your animals. We try to spend a lot of time with our pigs for 2 reasons: to get them socialized before they go to new homes, and also when we're out looking for breeders, which sows, which boars are going to be breeders. You need to be out there spending time with them, checking their feet, checking their backs, make sure which ones are good possible breeders. This may not be a negative, it's definitely not a negative, but it's something that takes up a lot of time. And it's not just with pigs, we like to be out there with chickens too, just to get them used to us, just so we're able to enjoy the animals. All right, the next reason why you shouldn't start a homestead, maybe this should have been the first reason, is the cost. We'll start with the big one. Animals. All your animals are going to cost something. Obviously, some may be cheaper than others. Chickens are going to be cheaper than pigs or cows or sheep or whatever. But there is always a cost. And if you're looking for good breeders, you're probably going to be paying a little bit more. So you've got your cost of your animals. As animals need to eat. That is a big one. That keeps going up. Seems like every time I go to the feed store, we need feed. The feed costs are going up, but that's just something you have to deal with. Some people are able to grow their own, some can't. So you got to go get your feed. Your feed cost seems to always be going up, and those animals always want to eat. So you're going to need feed. Once you get that feed, you need something to put it in. It may not be a big cost, but depending on how many animals you got, feeders for each pen, waterers for each pen, all those things add up. And next, although probably you should have this before the animals come home, you've got your housing. There's different types of housing. Some is cheaper than others. Even our cheapest housing, when you think about adding hinges and hardware to lock doors and everything, even the cheaper housing adds up. But there's plenty of options you have. Some expensive, some not. Sometimes it seems like the more you spend, the better it is. That's not always true, but you got to think about the housing that you're going to put those animals in. And as they get bigger, they're probably going to need bigger housing. So once you have your housing figured out, now you need to keep your investment safe. You've paid a lot of money for these animals. You want to keep predators out. You want to keep them penned up so they're not getting hurt. So you've got fencing, whether you choose portable fencing, whether you choose permanent fencing, it all adds up. If you're using electric, you're going to need chargers to keep that fencing going, keep those animals in and other animals out. So you've got your fencing to keep your animals safe and also your charging to keep those fences charged. Now, I'm sure I've forgotten some of the costs. If I've forgotten something, put down in the comments what are some other costs that I may have forgotten to get your homestead up and running and keep it going. All right, the third thing on our list you may not think about when you're getting started because you're excited and you just want to get going, but the third thing is loss. Anytime you have life, you're going to have loss. And we've lost pigs, we've lost chickens, some we don't know why. We've lost a couple chickens to predators. We've lost a donkey, I think it was stillborn. It's hard. It makes you question, are we doing the right thing? Did we do something wrong? Did we need to do something different? So the loss is hard. And it makes you question, should we have even started this? Not just the animals, we've lost housing due to storms. We've lost feed. We got feed home and a storm happened and it got rained on, so we lost feed. So sometimes you think of all the great things and everything's perfect, but there is a lot of loss on a homestead. You try to manage it to minimal loss, but it does happen. And sometimes it's real hard to deal with. And finally, number 4 on our list of why you should not start a homestead is because you are tied down. We have to feed twice a day. There's been times where the kids have been at sporting events, we've had to rush home, or we've been late because we have to feed. The animals need to eat twice a day. They can't care for themselves, so you need to be there to care for them. Also, we haven't had a vacation in 4 years since we've been on the homestead. So that's something you need to think about. You are tied down for sure. Also, if you're wanting to leave, depending on the size and the type of animals you have, it's kind of hard to find somebody to take care of the farm. We feel bad asking people to help us out just because the size and the time that goes into taking care of all the animals. So we are definitely tied down. Now, it's not a horrible thing because we're kind of homebodies, but you need to think about that. There's really no vacations, which is okay, but if that's something you like to do, you like to travel. Jamie and I, the older we get, it seems like the more we want to travel, and right now that doesn't really seem like an option. So you need to think about that. If you're people that like to go out and be doing things, overnight things, that might not be an option depending on the size of your homestead. So there are the 4 reasons why you should not start a homestead in 2024. Okay guys, I may have sounded like quite a Debbie Downer to some of you guys, maybe coming to the video and checking out, man, well, why shouldn't I start a homestead? But we just want you guys to know the reality of things. We show a lot of things, you see a lot of videos, and a lot of people make it look like sunshine and rainbows all the time and everything is perfect and this is the fabulous life. And for overall it is. It's a fantastic way to live. But we want you to know some of the things that come along with it. Everything is not perfect. Things happen that you don't account for or you're not prepared for. And sometimes you question, is what we're doing the right thing? Well, is it worth it all? We definitely think so, and here's why. So after all the reasons we just shared about why you shouldn't start a homestead, is it worth it starting a homestead? We definitely think so. We love the animals. That's the biggest thing for us. We picked out animals that we enjoy. And so it makes it not as bad when you get to come out here and enjoy them. We love being able to watch them grow, all the way from piglets or chicks in the brooder, hatching out of the eggs. You get to watch them grow and see what they turn into and see how healthy they get. And that's all because you're able to take care of them. And not only that, it is a stress release to come out here. Days you're having a bad day, sit out here with these pigs. Even the chickens, like I said, they're enjoyable as well. but just seeing all the work you've put into it, the fruits of your labor come to fruition. We love these pigs, chickens, all the animals on the farm. It's a lot of work, but we definitely think it's worth it. You're needing a lot of attention today, aren't you, Willow? Molly still got that tongue out there. Guys, another reason we think it's worth it is all the lessons that we've learned, how to take care of these animals, how to meet all the needs of the different animals that we have. And that's a big thing too for our kids, man. They're learning life lessons, they're learning about life and death in a day and age where it's just easy to sit and veg out on the couch. We get them outside, they're taking care of animals, they've got their chores, responsibilities, and they're learning a whole lot. All right, guys, the last and most important reason for us that we started a homestead, and we think you should too, is being able to provide the best feed possible for your family. We have not gone to the grocery store and bought meat in almost 3.5 years, and it has been awesome. As we got into reading about what that meat goes through, what those animals go through to get to that grocery store, we did not want any part of that. And so that is why we started the homesteading journey. We have not bought meat from the store in about 3.5 years, and it has been a great feeling to just go out to the freezer, grab that piece of food that you provided your family, you cared for, you raised, you fed. You know there's no antibiotics, no gross stuff that you don't want to put on your table in that meat. So that has been the main reason for us starting our homestead. What's the reason you're starting your homestead? Put that down in the comments, guys. And if it isn't a homestead, what's holding you back in 2024? It doesn't have to be homesteading, it could be a new job, new career. If you haven't seen it already, check out this video of what's holding you back. We'll see you on the next video.